Hi, and welcome. This is the Connector's Edge podcast. And I'm excited today. We have a special guest that I met for the first time about a month ago at Ricky's wedding dinner the night before she got married. And so I'm really excited to have Ricky explain a little bit about who this lady is and how wonderful she is and why she's here today. But I want you all to know that the Connector's Edge podcast is not only on all your favorite podcast apps, but we also show up on YouTube so you can see our funny faces and check us out. That's right. So if you're listening to us on iTunes or whatever podcast, I want you to go back and check us out on YouTube. So it's the same thing, Connector's Edge podcast on YouTube. And we look forward to not only entertaining you today, but also educating you on a few things. So let's get started, shall we? Take it away,
Are we
Ricky.
are we educating people? I didn't
We
know that.
can.
I
Sometimes that
thought we were just
happens.
having a good time.
Sometimes
Okay.
that happens.
Actually, the best way to educate people is to have fun with them. And that's one thing that I've found anyway.
Yes.
And good morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you are watching us, whenever you're watching us. I am Ricky McKenna. I'm a certified nutritionist and a chef and part of this podcast, which we host every Monday, but you can watch it anytime you want. And today we have a very special person here, right there somewhere. If I'm pointing in the right direction, her
No.
name is Cynthia Horowitz. And I met Cynthia, about 3, 4 years ago, Cynthia?
Yeah, it's
I
been a
think
few years.
so. Walking around our neighborhood because Cynthia was my neighbor, living about 100 paces away from our place. And we just struck up a conversation because she is one of the funniest, sweetest, knowledgeable, caring people that I've met. And the neighborhood is much benefited by her being there. Cynthia, are you officially a psychotherapist or how does one address that?
Yes, so I am an LPC, which stands for Licensed Professional Counselor,
Okay.
and I work in private practice. My practice is called CMH Counseling, and I work with adults in a totally telehealth practice.
Oh, beautiful. And she also is something that I think is her passion besides her practice. She rescues cats
Mhm.
and dogs, but basically cats. And when I met Cynthia, she was walking the two of the cutest little doggies I've ever seen, Elaine, who loves me too, and she jumped right up on. We became friends immediately.
Yeah,
And but what's the other one?
Sydney, Sydney.
Sydney, yes.
Yeah,
And they're just adorable.
yeah,
And we have been to each other's homes, and we have one cat. Cynthia has five.
yeah. Five at the mo. Well, I've got five of my own, and of course, I have a foster at the moment.
Yeah, she
It's
fosters
a whole
cats.
house over here, yes. And then I
Uh,
run a feral cat colony outside where we trap, spay, neuter, and release. So there's always a bit of craziness happening around here,
yeah,
much to the chagrin of my spouse.
who is adorable and wonderful and an incredibly knowledgeable person about wines and food.
Yeah,
And we have thoroughly enjoyed both of you.
yes,
And
same.
unfortunately, at this point, for our relationship, but we can connect, just definitely connect on Zoom. Um, my husband and I have moved to Colorado. So what you're seeing behind me is not my normal background. I still will be working with Ricky's Kitchen. That's my passion, teaching people how to cook and how to appreciate food and what it really does for you. But this is our new home and it's not quite complete, as you probably noticed. Everything's blank at this point. Sometimes my brain goes that way too. But next time we're together, I will show you a little different view from where we are because we are in the mountains of Colorado, and the views and the ability to open the windows and get fresh air are
Wow,
wonderful.
I remember those days. Yeah,
Yeah, I think you can relate.
I can.
Oh, and actually, I have to tell you that Cynthia and Scott
Yeah.
have an absolutely beautiful little backyard that they have established. And it's really interesting to sit in the backyard, which is just beautifully done, very comfortable. It's like it's a wonderful little atmosphere. And there's a fence in the back. And every once in a while, you'll see a cat walk by on the fence.
Or a possum or a raccoon.
Or, right.
We welcome
It's
all.
like you're out in the country, which is
Yeah.
delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and so just tell us more about you, Cynthia. I
Sure,
know
sure.
you've traveled. You told me something about traveling just recently that
Yeah.
I think everybody will find very interesting.
Certainly. Well, I'm originally from Tulsa, Oklahoma, born and raised there, lived there most of my life. And my husband and I actually met in high school, but did not date in high school. We went out on a date many years later when he came back to Tulsa on a business trip. Um, and so I was living in Dallas at the time that we got married. He was in Germany. And then we got married. I moved to Germany with him, and we were there for about 3 years, and then moved back to the States and ended up in Houston, where we've been ever since. So that's been about 13 years now.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, I had actually never been overseas until I was 30. I mean, other than the typical Mexico, Caribbean type of trip, which a lot of Americans take. But my first trip to Europe was when I was 30. And then when we moved there, we took that opportunity to really travel all throughout Western Europe and, uh, went to
Mark,
Russia, went to Africa. We had a lot of
wow.
really wonderful experiences. And yeah, so we do quite a bit of traveling still, and we hope to maybe be able to move to France one day. I'm learning French at the moment. It's not
Ah,
going well, but I try. And so I should say it's going okay enough, right? But it's hard. So, but I'm keeping trying.
oh, don't give up because it's very well worth it, Marion. I know that you've done a little bit of traveling. And I find even up here, this is very funny. Moving back here after 11 years in Houston, I lived here for 15 years and I worked at one of the Kroger stores, which is called City Market. I was their official nutritionist and I ran the alternative supplement department. So I met everybody in the store. I worked there for, I think, 2.5 years.
Cool.
And also in private practice doing chefing, which I do now as well, and creating special soups. But the point I want to make is speaking another language is so advantageous
Mhm.
because a lot of the other employees in the store, the associates, are either from Honduras, San Salvador, and Mexico. And the fact that I speak messy Spanish, but it works, they really appreciated that. And I know that wherever I go, if someone is speaking Spanish, I can usually understand enough to get by. I don't speak it as well as I hear it, so
Yeah,
it takes practice. And
yeah,
then again, my daughter moved to France because she married a Frenchman. So
right.
now she speaks both Spanish and French.
Mm.
Um, and it's extremely advantageous because one day standing at a map in the metro in Paris with my mother, who spoke French, we're looking at a map and a gentleman walks up and he's looking and he looks like he just can't find what he's looking for. And I asked him something in French and then he answered me in Spanish. And I said, oh, oh. So then we had a conversation in Spanish and he went his merry way on the metro. But it's really, it helps to speak another language.
Yes, yes,
So keep
absolutely.
trying. And
Yeah.
don't worry about your pronunciation because people will get it. I found if you mimic, this is my lesson for the day, it has nothing to do with food. If you mimic exactly the sound that you hear, like if somebody said to me, how are you in French? And or in Spanish. Spanish is usually what we have more of at this point in the United States. And I would answer them bien gracias,
Mm.
or something like that. And in French, it works the same way. You can say bien works in French as well as
Right.
in Spanish. And then there's little nuances that you'll learn, but mimic instead of como está usted, which is Spanish, but bleh, como
Yeah.
está usted?
Yeah.
There's a difference, and
Yeah.
just mimic what you hear them say. And there's my
What's
lesson
so
for the day. I'll
interesting
now shut
about
up.
French as well is you know, you listen to it slowly, but then if you're listening to people speak it at their regular pace,
Oh,
it all turns into one big word, right? Or the consonant from one
right.
word goes on to the next word. And I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And I was reading about it, and apparently people speak French 15% faster than we speak English. And I thought, okay,
Wow.
that makes sense. That would certainly
Yeah.
account for the experience I'm having. But I actually, so I learned from a language app, but I just don't get enough speaking experience. And so I signed up for an app where I'm going to be working one-on-one with a tutor, because I read at a probably an A2 by grammar. I just tested at a B1 level. I don't know how the heck I did that, but I'll take it. But my speaking is really basic. I mean, you ask me a question, and everything just leaves my head. And you just got to practice it, right? Speaking is the hardest part. I used to teach English, actually. When I lived in Germany, I taught ESL, and then when we moved back
Oh,
to the
yeah.
I still taught ESL for a couple of years, and I know this to be true, that speaking is always the hardest skill.
Yeah. I
So,
found though, Marion, come on in here. We're
yes, sir.
monopolizing.
We're just off to the races. Please, please
My
join.
mind is just going. I've been to Mexico and Canada because I live in the United States and they're right there, right? But
Yeah.
other than that, I haven't ventured out. I've always wanted to learn Spanish. I don't know. I've just never done it. I took a little bit in school, enough to know that my name, is Mary in Spanish. It's not
Yeah.
Marian. And
Oh, really?
I do have some friends that live in the Philippines, and it's Marian. They call me Marian. Yeah, Marian. No matter what you say to them, it's Marian because they have the same spelling, and that's how they pronounce it, Marian. So
So,
that's about as far as I go with that. So don't worry.
It's okay. You know what? A smile communicates a lot of things,
oh yeah.
and you do that beautifully.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
thank
Marion's
you.
always got a smile on her face. That's one of the
Oh,
things I love about her.
Oh,
yeah.
She's a very positive, um, outgoing, and friendly person.
well, thank
And
you.
so, oh, you're very welcome.
And I do
You
have a
heard
couple
that.
questions for Cynthia because the people who watch and listen to our podcast are really they're business owners or they're entrepreneurs or they're getting ready to start their first business. And so
Mm.
my first thought is, do you have any thoughts, feelings, advice, or topics that we could talk about where your industry might help them? Because mindset, I believe, and that's probably why I'm always smiling. I have a really good mindset. I started early. I took NLP. I became, an advanced practitioner. I took all the courses, and I read all the books about mindset, and I think that really has helped me to overcome different things when it comes to my business. Because believe me, it's hard out there. It's changing really fast.
Yeah.
So that's my question to you, Cynthia. Do you have any advice that might help a business owner or an entrepreneur?
Mm. Yeah, well, that's a good question. And I actually work with a lot of professionals in my practice. Um, and we work on lots of issues that affect them in the workplace in terms of communication, ability to set boundaries,
Oh,
conflict resolution,
yes,
anxiety,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
performance anxiety, that kind of stuff.
Well, you're
Um,
hitting them right
Oh,
away. You
totally.
bam,
Yeah,
bam, bam.
perfectionism is a big one with a lot of the people that I work with, overachieving, that kind of stuff. And so I think that for a business owner, especially someone that's just starting out, one of the most important things to keep in mind, I don't know if you all have heard the term between fixed and growth mindset. Are you all familiar with these expressions?
Oh,
So, a fixed mindset is one in which you tend to view yourself as I'm born with all of the intelligence sort of that I have. What I've got is what I've got to work with. And someone with a fixed mindset, then they tend to be really critical, right, of themselves. It's hard for them to learn or bounce back from mistake making because they tend to view it in quite catastrophic ways. Whereas a growth mindset assumes that here's where we start, but we always have the capability to learn more and grow. And they really normalize making mistakes and failing as part of the process. I talk to clients a lot about success and failure are really judgments. They're just judgments, right? And we tend to, I like to give my clients an example of, and people laugh, especially the men that I work with. They know what I'm talking about. But you ever watch like a professional soccer game? What does it look like when one of the players is trying to get the other guy carded for a penalty? He falls down. It's a big dramatic thing, right? He acts like, that he got touched and he acts like, I've got a broken arm, that kind of stuff. It's really dramatic. And I'll always say to people, don't over dramatize your falls. Falls are just part of it. And you always learn things, right? In the midst of your falls. You learn things and you also learn simply to be compassionate with yourself, right? Anytime we're on a path of growth, if we're also not committed to compassion for ourselves, then that growth is going to be injurious, right? Because we're going to really be mean to ourselves along the way. Or I'll have clients who they'll start therapy, and after a few months, are like, Cynthia, why didn't I do this 10 years ago? Or, wow, I can't believe I used to do X and X. And I'm like, and here's the thing, you sitting here in front of me now, in a year, you're going to be a different person. And then another year, you're going to be an even more different person, right? We're always growing and evolving. If you want to continue that, you have to also make a commitment to be compassionate along the way. That's a really long answer, but those are some of my thoughts about that.
Yeah.
beautiful. No,
Well,
that
my
really,
first my first thought is I'm in a book club and we're reading Atomic Habits, and
Yeah.
one of the participants started that 75 hard.
Mm,
And so we were talking about how she made it 4 or 5 days, and then Houston is having an incredible thunderstorm. Like uh, it's a really big. She can't walk. Okay, that's one of the things she was supposed to do every day, and so
right.
that kind of threw her off and that type of thing. And I love the fact that you were talking about how the mindset, a growth mindset, says, okay, well that happened. And now it's not going to be like the dramatic thing like you're talking about, because that's 75 hard makes it dramatic, right? So this is the suggestion I gave her this morning. So I have a vibration plate, and if you stand on it, it says walking. If you're in the middle, it's walking. If you stand out a little further, it's jogging. And if you stand out a little further, it's running. And so I
Mm,
thought that's my go around. They call me the go around queen. So if you have a growth mindset, it would mean to me that you would be able to take that, what you fell down or you didn't, you failed or whatever it is that you decide you did, and
mm,
just figure out another way around it.
mm.
So thank you. I appreciate that. I love that. I wrote that down. Growth mindset. That means a lot.
yep,
Yeah.
beautiful. And thank you, because we just went through, just to relate it to something totally current. We plan to be here in 2 days of travel.
Mm.
However, we went through some rainstorms that were like going through a car wash.
Oh.
Oh, I'm telling you, and you're supposed to be
Oh,
doing, 60 or 75 miles an hour, and you're
oh.
slowed down to 55, which is fine. You don't want to kill yourself on the way. But we got to a point just outside of Denver where there was a sign that said, Eisenhower Tunnel is closed. And if anybody's familiar with Colorado, I-70 Eisenhower Tunnel's at 11,000 something feet, and you have to go through it to get to the west. And there was a horrible accident, unfortunately, some trucks. but they closed it. And we were at the point at about, it was about 6 o'clock in the evening. Of course, it was still light, but it was dark and the lightning and thunder and everything. And we just made a decision at that point to stop in Denver, get a motel, and wait until all of this was over and go out in the morning. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a change of plan.
Yeah.
But, and after driving for 2 days, and especially Richard was driving with the cat on his lap, and the both of you, I believe, have met Washington.
So
This was
Washington.
her first long car trip.
Yeah.
But she really made it well. And even in the motel, she was very quiet.
Oh.
And I think she's got a growth mindset too, because she settled in. And the cutest thing happened, and you'll both appreciate this. But speaking of growth mindset for a 14-year-old cat, she has a favorite toy that she's had since Richard had her, which is about 8 years. It looks like a carrot. It's a little orange thingy about this big. That's her favorite toy. Well, he found it the day after we got here. And she had been wandering around the house doing what cats do, investigating things and everything. And he tossed the carrot to her. And he said she absolutely jumped on it, played with it for a couple of minutes, and then put it in both paws and curled up around it.
Oh.
So she was
It's
home.
her comfort.
Yes.
I mean, and I'm getting chills thinking
I've
about
got
it. He
chills
was
too. Oh my
almost in
goodness.
tears.
I
But even
know.
a cat can exhibit a growth mindset.
Yes.
Oh, Ricky, I love that. Thank
You know,
you.
speaking of some of the things we're talking about in terms of business ownership and your mindset and the importance of that,
Mhm.
there's a really great book by a woman named Marie Forleo, and it's called Everything is Figure Outable. And there is a chapter in particular that was so good. I retyped it, PDF'd it, of course, giving her credit so I can give it to all my clients because just that chapter alone has so many great tips for people who are trying to really accomplish any goal in life. And she talks about fixed and growth mindset in there amidst a bunch of other stuff. That chapter in particular is called Progress, Not Perfection. And again, for a lot of my clients who deal with anxiety and all of the challenges that come with that, it's really been helpful. So that might be something that people would be interested in reading.
Oh, Marion, can we have her share that with us?
If she wants to,
If
absolutely. Are
you're
you
willing to
kidding?
do that?
Yeah, we have what she's talking about, Cynthia, is in Referral Business Builders. We have a community.
Yeah.
You become a member, and once you're a member, we have resources and
Mhm.
we have all a list of things that we do, networking groups and all kinds of things, the book club, everything. And
Yeah.
so the resources area is really important to us.
Yeah.
And if that's what she's talking about, if you
Yeah.
would share it with us, we would love it. And we would put it in our resources area.
Oh
For
my
our-
gosh, absolutely. Yes, it's
Oh,
really
that's
helpful. I
Thank
did
you.
great.
put a few of my own little thingies in there
Good.
in that chapter,
Oh,
but
great.
they're
Good.
notated that this comes from this or that. But yeah, it's wonderful, and so I'll be glad to pass it
Yeah.
along.
I used to watch Marie Forleo.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, on her
Yeah,
show.
she's the
She's
founder of B School, I think.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, she
But
coaches.
she's a lot of fun too. She
She
dances,
is
she does all
very
kinds of things.
spirited. Yeah, she is.
Yes.
She's a lot. Yeah, in
She's
a really
quite a
cool way.
character.
Yes, very
But
much.
if you wouldn't mind sharing that, because Referral Business Builders is not just about business, it's about connections,
Yeah.
as the podcast is. And so we like connecting with people who have something different to share, as well as the usual business stuff, because I'm a proponent of having fun written into your business plan. If it's not in there, you need to do a little rewrite, editing.
Yeah.
That's what I think. But as I say, the Connectors Edge and Referral Business Builders has given me a lot of very interesting ideas that have helped me grow in my business, and sharing some ideas and concepts the way you have this morning has been absolutely fabulous. And I do hope that more people watch, and we invite everybody to watch. And also, if you found a nugget or two, or more, please comment below in the comments if you're watching live. And even if you watch the
Replay. Now, she did warn me that she might have some problems with her internet because they just moved and they're on a hotspot. So she apparently
Ah,
lost her connection, so that's
yes,
okay.
sure.
Great facial expression you left us with, Ricky.
It's always something like that, right? It's never
Yes.
when you're just smiling
I
serenely.
know, I know, I know. But what she was going to say is, thank you, Cynthia, for joining us
Of
today. You're
course.
welcome to come back anytime, and we mean that. Any single time you have a thought or something you want to share, our audience is, like I said, business owners or people that want to, they're getting laid off left and right. We talked about AI today, and we talked about a lot of the stuff that we didn't get to today, but that's the way it is. Right?
Mm.
Oh, there she's back. Okay, good. You left us for a little while and now you're muted. Okay. Yeah. She just moved yesterday, so
Okay.
give her a break, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. No, what happened was we're actually on a hotspot.
I told them all about it while you were gone. Oh,
Oh, just lost your audio, it looks
yeah,
like. Yeah.
yeah, okay. It's okay, Ricky. I closed it out for you. It's okay. We love you. We're so happy you're safe in Colorado. Cynthia, I look forward to many, many more times of hanging out with you. So thank you everyone for watching, listening. And what Ricky wants you to do is comment if you found anything interesting today. Just comment down below, okay? And we'll see you again next week.
Thanks so much for having me.